Giant Sports Talk and Entertainment. We went a little old school today. Why not? Because you want to know why?
It's all in the reflexes.
It's all in the reflexes. That's what old Jack Burton always has to say. I want to talk about the Giants mini camp, voluntary mini camp. I want to talk about Andrew Thomas. I want to talk about Kadarius Toney, the Joe Shane press conference, the Brian Daboll press conference, and everything else that was going on the last couple of days. There's a lot of news going on, a lot of things. You know what? For a team that you're in voluntary minicamps, you would think there would not be a lot of news to discuss in reference to the Giants, but there is. There's quite a number of things that have been going on just in a short period of time. First, let's talk about Kadarius Toney. Kadarius Toney is another no-show at minicamp. And again, it's voluntary minicamp. I mean, it's one of those things that it's voluntary. But the ideal situation would be for him to be there. That's the ideal situation. Even the smooth sounds of Kenny G came out and said, listen, you know what? Everyone should be here. This is what you should be doing. Kenny G basically said, I feel like the whole team is just trying to get off to a good start and a good note. You know, and he goes, I mean, I guess you could say that how much it means to me, especially coming off of last season. That's why he was there. That's why Kenny was there. He even admits that. That's why he's there. He didn't have a good season. He admits it. I'm not a big Kenny fan. Everyone knows that. But when asked about Kadarius Toney, he goes, I haven't talked to him in a while, but I'm pretty sure he has something going on. Everything will work out. He will probably be getting the playbook, talking to the coaches. It is my job and the rest of the receivers' coaches to get him on track. No, it's not. You're saying the right things, Kenny, especially after such a poor season. And this is why I am falling over to the Kenny G camp a little bit. You're saying the right things, but you need to say he should be what you need to say as a second-year veteran of this team and a veteran of the league and a two-time 1,000-yard receiver. You need to be here. You need to be here. You need to get your butt here, and you need to get working. Brian Daboll came out and said, this is a voluntary camp. The guys that are here, we're going to work with. The guys that aren't, they're going to miss out on some things. It's a voluntary for a reason. That's the nature of the rules. I had good talks with KT, good talks with some of the other guys. I am encouraged with where they are with our preparation and what we're doing. We're going to keep working in the right direction. That's great. You know, I love it. I love the Giants right now because all they keep doing is saying the right things. They're saying the right things out into the press, out into the pressosphere, into the social media sphere. They're saying the right things. But I have a feeling, as someone that's been in NFL locker rooms, as someone that worked in the league for a couple of years and in the Arena Football League, I have a feeling there's a lot of good closed-door conversations right now about Kadarius Toney and him not showing up. Now, all the people that sit there and say, well, it's not a big deal that he didn't show up, especially all the pundits on social media, you don't know what you're talking about. I guarantee you never strapped it on. I guarantee you never played a competitive sport in your life because you know, especially coming off for a horrendous season, it's not only the optics of being in camp, it's also the fact that you have a new head coach, you have a new offensive coordinator, you have a new general manager. You need to put your best foot forward. And even Joe Shane said it's voluntary. Nobody asks us about the other guys that aren't here. It's life. Life happens. I had a good conversation. And I love it because it's always the political line. The political line, especially, it doesn't matter who the president is. There's always a talking point, and they regurgitate that to the media. And I love it because the talking point here is I had a good conversation. So Shane has said I've had good conversations. Daboll has had good conversations. Very savvy media department I think the Giants have hooked up their wagon to. Toney had one good game. Toney had 420 yards and no touchdowns as a rookie. He had 189 of those yards in one game. That tells you something. He didn't learn the playbook. He couldn't get on the field. He couldn't even return punts. Special teams coach said, I don't trust him to return punts or kickoffs. He's not ready. How are you not ready to stand there and catch the ball and run? There's no play design. You just wave your hand if you're going to fair catch, or you look down the field, you look up, you watch the ball, you catch it, and then you look forward and then run. Not that difficult. Get your butt with your team, Kadarius. Don't want to hear. I don't care about him. I'm not against him having a rap career. I've heard some of his raps. It's not that great. But I'm not against that. He can do whatever he wants to do, but when the season starts and it's time to get to work, get your ass in camp. Andrew Thomas. There has been scuttlebutt. There has been conversation. Brian Daboll was asked about moving Andrew Thomas to right tackle. And I find it interesting that he did not say no. He basically was very non-committal about it. And he's leaving the door open for the Giants moving him to right tackle if they draft someone and then move him, to fill into the left tackle position. If you take Charles Cross and move him to left tackle and move Andrew Thomas to right, I might have a conniption. Because you're taking a guy who, from all accounts, or most people will tell you, is probably one of the better pass blocking tackles in the draft, who is suited to be a left tackle, but he doesn't have the strength to anchor the run. He's going to be a rookie playing left tackle. So this is what we're going to have. We're going to have a rookie at left tackle, a new player at right tackle, and 3 fill-ins. If you want to be the Giants, if you're looking at yourself as the Giants right now, and you're looking at yourself at this offensive line, and you're talking about the theory that Daniel Jones needs everything to be perfect and Daniel Jones needs this, you are that is a recipe for disaster. To take a left tackle, move him to right tackle, and then put a rookie left tackle in the line, and then have A and B at guard and C at center. So you're basically going to have 5 new and open positions within the line. That I cringe a little at that. I'm not gonna lie, I cringe a little. I think to myself, that is, if you want a recipe for disaster, that is a recipe for disaster. Also, you had the Joe Schoen press conference. He was talking about what's been going on in reference to Kadarius Toney. He's been talking about what's been going on in reference to trades of the first round picks. He says, we have received calls on both picks. Again, it's too early to know exactly what will happen. We're still looking through our process. It's more, let's stay in contact as the draft get closer. We'll go through those scenarios. It's too early right now to make any type of decision on that. Again, general manager speak. Very good. I like it. I like it a lot. And then he was asked that Shane hasn't received a specific proposal for any of the first round draft choice. Not a hard offer, no. We've got to get into negotiations. Just some teams called and said, hey, are you willing to move? That kind of is where we're at right now. My comment was, as the draft gets closer, we'll talk more into specifics. If you're serious about it, let's do something. I think some teams are just fishing. Again, very, very well thought out point. I will tell you this. When Joe Schoen first came here, his first opening day press conference, I'll tell you, I've said it before, I was not impressed. I thought he would have been more media savvy. But as he has gotten more and more comfortable speaking to the New York media and the national media alone, he is starting to find his own. He's trying to find his own space. He's trying to figure out exactly who he is, and he's doing much better with the press. When asked about the roster, he says, I think where we are on a roster, there are several needs. To put a figure on what exactly the biggest need is to be difficult. If you can find 2 really good football players at 5 and 7, that's how we'll stack the board. Let's just throw the need, whatever perceived the need is, out. Who are the best football players in the draft? We've set a vertical board, and we have a horizontal board as well. It's not completely set. There are still some conversations to be had. I don't think we're going to go the wrong with drafting good football players. You never go wrong with drafting good talent. And to his point, we are so diluted and devoid of talent. It's probably time to find, we need players. That's what we need. We need players. I don't want to be a player no more. I'm not a player. I'll just crush a lot. We need some players, Big Pun. We need some guys on this roster. I've said it before, old Mother Hubbard, the roster, the cupboard is bare. For all the fools that I see now, like 9-10 wins. These are the same people that said the Giants were going to make the playoffs like next year and last year. Or I should say last year and 2 years ago. It's not going to happen. We don't have the talent. If anything, I'll tell you this, your line is probably going to be worse for a little bit. Brian Dable even came out and said that he's already building excuses for Daniel Jones a couple weeks back in his press conference when he said it may take 3 to 5 weeks for Daniel Jones to be comfortable with the offensive system. What the hell is training camp for then? Daniel Jones better be playing a lot of snaps in preseason. Tons and tons and tons. In reference to James Bradberry, Shayna says, we have gotten calls on James Bradberry. Of course, James Bradberry is the 2020 Pro Bowl corner. Right now, we don't have any room to maneuver. We really don't. We still need to make some moves. We still need to make some big changes. Shane basically said he's 28. He's 2 years removed from a Pro Bowl season. He's a high caliber starting corner. I'll reflect back to what I've said at the combine at a last resort is converting and restructuring contracts. So we can always get creative if we have to. And he said, we're going to figure it out. Here's the talking points. I've had great conversations with James Bradberry's representative. I've talked to James. He still can play in the league. Yeah, he definitely can still play in the league. He's a starting corner. We've talked. He wasn't here today. There's a contingency plan, as I mentioned, at the combine and the owners meeting where he could still be a Giant. I don't have a problem with James Bradberry being there because James Bradberry may not be on the team. James Bradberry looks like he may not be a fit for the roster. Not that he wouldn't be a fit for the roster, but he's not a guy, in my mind, who's a long-term solution to this organization right now, And that's because, he's not at an advanced age of 28, but his salary's too high. And honestly, by the time the Giants are good, there's going to be, by the time we're good again, he's going to be on the downslope of his career. And I think that's just kind of where we need to leave it at. I wanted to talk about Saquon Barkley really quick. Saquon Barkley is actually coming out saying that he's feeling pretty healthy. He says, unlike last season, he's where he's coming off the ACL and the meniscus injuries, those right knees. Basically, that type of injury really does put your career in jeopardy. I actually showed my old MRIs last live stream with Dom for my last knee injury. And you could see how, and I had a knee injury similar because I tore my ACL, my meniscus, and my mid-meniscus, and they actually took part of my patella tendon and had to string it into a new ACL. So mine was actually more severe, and it was in the early 90s, so, they were basically butchers to what they're compared now in reference to surgery. But it was still a difficult surgery I was laid up for almost a year and a half. It was still anywhere between, I've always said, between 12 to 24 months before you fully come back from an ACL tear and a meniscus tear or a mid-meniscus tear or both. So I'm kind of curious to see what he's going to do, how he's going to rock it out this season. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be a lot of interesting. We got the big draft stream on Sunday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today is the last day. If you want to be involved in it, give me an email. Shoot me an email at tim@onlinebigblu. Just tim@onlinebigblu.com. That's tim@onlinebigblu.com if you want to be involved in it. All I ask that you have is who you think the 5 and 7 picks are going to be. We're going to have a little open discussion. We got an open debate. We got a lot of good subscribers jumping in. So please, if you are willing or wanting to join in the show, you don't have to stay for the full 2 hours. You can stay as long as you want. That's going to be tim@onlinebigblu.com. Also, check out the new podcast, 312-1, this Return of the Giants, the 2022 season. I'm doing that with OGR Sports. Got a lot of good comments about it yesterday, which was fun. A lot of people are happy that Mr. OGR is back. I think a lot of people are giving me credit. One person told me, that I'm the greatest YouTuber ever because I got OGR to come back. Well, I think it was more him coming back than me having to do anything with it. So, but big shout out to OGR. And again, this is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best of New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. And as always, if you could like, subscribe, you ring the bell, you know what I mean? That'd be awesome.